and welcome to UC Today. My name is Kieran Devlin and today's session is Empowering Organisations to Effortlessly Migrate, Operate and Optimise UC in the Cloud. I am delighted to be joined by John DeBaca, VP of Strategy and Business Development at Verify. John, thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, Kieran, for having us here today. So pleased to be speaking with UC today.
Before we explore exactly how organisations can migrate, operate and optimize their UC in the cloud, please tell us a little bit about yourself, John, and your journey with Verify.
Oh, thank you. So I joined Verify very recently as the VP of Strategy and Business Development. 20-year veteran in the UC space, going all the way back to Celsius. Did a turn at Cisco, did a turn at Five9, became a specialist in artificial intelligence, but it was really the compelling story that Verify brings to the table that really compelled me to join the organization about 6 months ago.
Yeah, and I'm sure we're about to explore that story in more detail. Before we discuss Verify's solutions and how they support partners and customers, John, can you please tell us a little about the key challenges your partners are facing in migrating to the cloud, especially visibility into their on-prem environments?
Thank you so much. So, we talk to partners all the time and customers as well. We've been in business for 20 years, and as a result, we've got great visibility into the Cisco CUCM solution, right? That's been a solid platform for most of our customers for the past 20 years. But what we've seen now moving forward is a real need to move to the cloud, whether it's Microsoft Teams, Cisco Webex, or Zoom Calling. And what we've noticed there, and many of our partners are telling us, is that customers are stuck in analysis paralysis. They're hesitant to move forward, primarily because their environment has changed significantly over the past 10 years. And if you think about what COVID did, right? COVID forced most of our customers to adopt a work from home environment. And if you look at those new platforms, Microsoft Teams, Webex Calling, and Zoom Calling, they really have a strong CPaaS component, particularly around conferencing, which means within our customers, they don't necessarily know what it is they need to move from their old on-premise platform into the cloud. And that's where Verify steps in. As you mentioned in the introduction, we really want to focus on three value propositions. The first is migration, the second is operations, and finally we want to help our customers and our partners optimize. So for our partners, we're helping them overcome that challenge of how do you actually get your customer, give them the confidence, give them the assurance, and also provide a pathway forward to migrate from that on-premise solution into the cloud.
And beginning with stage one, please give us some more detail on how Verify helps partners navigate the process of migrating their customers to the cloud and ensuring a smooth transition with minimal disruption.
Yeah. So what we do is we've got a tool that you could run not only on the on-premise solution, Cisco CUCM in particular, but also allows you to give visibility into sort of what is that end state when you get to Microsoft Teams, Cisco WebEx, or Zoom Calling. And what we're seeing is there in many cases, there's not a single path forward. In many cases, a lot of our customers are landing in a multi-platform world. But in order to first make that move into that cloud environment, they really need to understand what's on the ground today. In many cases, they have users that have left the company, but they're still in the configuration. They've got devices that are still in the configuration, dialing plans that are become stale, and so just really understanding what you need to make that move. I equate it to if you were personally going to move from one house to the next. You don't clean the house before the movers come, right? You really should look at what it is you're trying to migrate. And then when you move over, you make sure that what lands in your new environment, being Cisco, Microsoft, or Zoom, is really what you want. And you're not bringing over a lot of junk, right? So we're recommending that you do clean up, right? That you do get visibility into those as-built configurations. You do have an understanding of what users are valid. You do have an understanding of what devices are still being used and how often they're being used before you make that decision to migrate to the cloud.
Terrific. I really enjoy that house moving analogy as well. I think that's very instructive for simplifying the idea in people's minds. And really, another really interesting impact on the current industry is how more and more organizations are adopting a multi-platform approach to their UC and collaboration tools. What are some of the key challenges you guys are seeing that seeing partners and customers face when it comes to operating and optimizing these diverse UC environments?
Yeah, so the first key is to understand why there are multi-platform environments in existence. The first is, you have a comfort level with Cisco. They've been in this business for 20 years, and so customers have an investment in their phones, in their video endpoints, and all those elements that they just don't want to lose. So that's a good argument for why Webex calling is going to be part of the mix. But then you see Microsoft Teams. The way that Microsoft Teams licenses, it makes it very easy, especially with their E3 and E5 licensing, for customers to pick up the power of Microsoft and looking at things like Copilot and how Microsoft just goes to market. And then the nice thing about Zoom is Zoom really took off during COVID. And so a lot of customers and different buying personas within our customers decided that Zoom was the way for them to actually just stay in business during the COVID situation where everybody was working remote. So why walk away from that? With Verify, you can actually have a tool that allows you to get visibility across all three platforms. And the nice thing about cloud for any of our customers is they've got a choice. They can pick and choose between those different platforms for different aspects of the solution set that works best for them. And in some cases, it may be broken up by geography, it may be broken out by solution set, it may be broken up by buying persona. We don't want to limit our partners and our customers in being able to operate in the environments that they choose, especially since cloud allows us to operate multi-platform environments or even hybrid environments where you'll have both Cisco CUCM and maybe one of those other solutions that I mentioned working, side by side for some period of time.
I want to talk about cross-platform visibility and integration, or the lack thereof. And I feel it's often illuminating to look at the lack to see the gain, if that makes sense. And does the lack of cross-platform visibility and integration impact an organization's ability to effectively monitor, troubleshoot, and optimize its overall UC performance?
Yeah, great question. So if you think about sort of the challenges, and I've been inside Cisco and I've been in large organizations, and you think about their own development cycle, they're really experts in their own platform. So it's not reasonable for one of our partners or customers to expect Microsoft to come up with a great visibility tool into Webex or Zoom calling. And vice versa, the engineers and developers at Cisco and Zoom aren't really thinking about how to build tools to help better manage Microsoft. That's where Verify steps in, right? We can work cross-functionally because we're not tied to a single platform. We can build the right tool set, the right dashboards and widgets so that any user, whether it's at an IT level or a buying persona that's higher up in the line of business, can get visibility cross-platform. And again, it enables that choice and that flexibility they have so that they can manage that platform based on choice, right? What different capabilities do they want to leverage from each platform?
And can you please share some examples of how Verify supports partners and customers overcome the challenges of operating in a multi-vendor UC landscape? What kind of unique features and capabilities do you provide to really deliver on that holistic perspective?
Sure. So think about certain industries and certain verticals, right? It's not reasonable to think that you would have 12 people go into a conference room in a large enterprise and everybody pop up their laptop to have a phone call, right? There are solutions out there that actually drive that. So it allows them to do things with conferencing, allows them to do things that are really tuned to having a very holistic approach to, do I want to use a laptop and a headset? Do I want to use a phone? Right? So for us, we can provide things like in the, if looking at the CUCM environment, like remote phone control. Right? In the new world, it's looking at those as-built configurations. It's looking at usage. In certain industries, regulation and being able to maintain a multi-years worth of CDR data is critical. So we look at that in, say, healthcare and in finance and in government. So we're really trying across the board to develop capabilities and solution sets that really solve for either operations, regulation, compliance, or just being able to, again, manage that multi-platform environment, knowing that more than likely for the next several years, it's going to be a hybrid world.
And you alluded there about the real benefits to this kind of structure to finance. And I wonder if we could really focus specifically on those really highly regulated industries now, not just finance, but also healthcare and government. What are the additional considerations around managing UC across different platforms from a compliance and security standpoint?
Sure. So when you think about compliance, you always think about risk, right? And now we talk about different buying personas as well as different regulatory, either internal or external agencies. So if you think about sort of managing in the healthcare space, right, there's a lot of regulations tied to healthcare, and they want to know, at least 3 years worth of call detail records, right? That's somebody that the HR manager looks for and are very interested in. That's also a compliance in third parties, right? In the healthcare space, you have elements that look at IT specifically because there are a lot of rules tied to IT within healthcare that are unique to that industry. We think about HIPAA, for example, but there's also elements like JCO and other things. And whereas we don't touch those regulations deeply, we do influence that with data. In the finance world, same thing, right? It's all about managing data because obviously in the financial world, whether you're in banking or you're in a brokerage firm or you're just trying to manage financial data for third parties, they want visibility as well. They want to be able to look back 3 years and say, what were my call detail records? Can I prove a transaction? Can I actually go through and look at the analysis of call flows? And we can provide that because we can provide that storage and allow for visibility into those particular types of call detail records.
Brilliant. Well, I think that's a really compelling note on which to end today's call, and I've really enjoyed today's session. So thank you, John, for being here with us today.
Thank you so much. Always enjoy spending time with UC today, and look forward to interacting with you, our partners, and our customers.
And if you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and share on social media, and we'll see you next time. I've been Kieran Devlin of UC Today. Thanks for watching.